Hi, everybody. It's Mark DiTomaso. Been speaking with you about the responsibilities and burdens, the rewards that come with caregiving. As many of you know, I spent the past 10 years caring for my mother, Gloria, who passed this last July 1st in my arms here at home. And it was emotionally draining. The end of life brings out all the emotions from your most pressing fears to your most fond memories, and it really takes you on an emotional roller coaster. Watching the person that you revered and had a certain relationship with your entire life, watching them slowly decline and or sometimes rapidly decline is quite an experience and does a real number on the caregiver and on the whole family. In fact, everybody in the family responds a little differently how they handle stress. But for the caregiver who is there on the ground, it's a totally different experience. And that person goes through things that the members of the family watching from a distance can only imagine. So the caregiver has uh, unique challenges to deal with that have to do with burnout, that have to do with dysregulation, that have to do with not getting enough sleep, not getting the emotional care, not being able to maintain the social life and social support systems that you need. So a caregiver has very unique, oftentimes unseen needs that he or she alone has to contend with. So the book that Nancy Rhodes wrote, Caregiver Tools and Tips. She's an advanced practitioner nurse. She did it for 40 years, and she knows everything under the sun that is contained in this book, every medical condition, and if you're a caregiver, you need a tool like this. It'll help alleviate much of the unknown stresses from dealing with the unknowns. This will give you an idea of what it is, a very clear idea of what it is that you are in for and what to do about it as a caregiver. She also has many tips for the caregiver as far as maintaining their equilibrium, exercises, breathing exercises, stretching tips, resources for the caregiver. My mother was a clinical social worker, and her business was understanding the the psychological needs of a person. They would come to her and seek the wisdom, the insights to learn how to understand their own emotions and figure out their own life situations. Now, I developed my own system of dealing with the residual effects of caregiving, with the burnout, with the leftover feelings that psychotherapy don't quite resolve. The reason psychotherapy doesn't resolve most problems is there is an unconscious enactment that occurs between the therapist and the client. And the paradigm that most traditional therapy follows is outdated and and doesn't deal effectively with the unconscious enactment, the prejudices or the biases of the therapist and how they interact with the person seeking relief for their emotional problems, to seeking to understand what's going on with them, why they feel the way they do. So over the 10 years of caregiving for my mother, 6 years was nonstop. And during these past 6 years, I not only learned tons about my mother's profession, about family dynamics and communications, but I understood, I gained a little bit of a deeper insight as to her own biases, my own biases, and we had the chance to revisit these conversation and dynamics probably, if not thousands, at least hundreds of times. And through those years of processing emotions and talking about it with a therapist who was skilled at defining and deciding what's going on, I've developed a system that helps the person experiencing the emotion to identify and quantify and decide for themselves what the best path forward is for them, what makes most sense for them. So it removes the dynamic of the unconscious enactment that happens between the therapist and the patient. So with this book, My X-Ray of a Spirit, gives you the tools to examine your own thoughts, feelings, emotions, your own take on what's going on, to really drill down to the most finite degree of what you're experiencing with your emotions, where those emotions are coming from, what help you identify what you want to do about it, and then gives you methods to break the old cycles and develop the new patterns that you want to step into, to live your life by, to resolve your issues, and to honor yourself. So the X-Ray of the Spirit, together with Nancy's book for caregiving, will give you all the tools, let's see, most all the tools you'll need to deal with the burdens, the challenges of caregiving. Whether you're a first responder, if you're not a caregiver, or you're just dealing with your own issues in life and you want to resolve what's going on with you for yourself, to quantify and identify so that you can change your situation. This is more effective because you can do it at your own rate than any experience that I've had with therapists. You see a therapist 1 hour at a time, and oftentimes you talk about the same things over and over. So my Spirit of the X-Ray methodology gives you a way to get to the bottom of it on your own terms, to quantify whether or not you're satisfied with the results you're getting. So it's psychotherapy, a private psychotherapy in a box that puts you at the center of what's going on with you, and helps you identify the pathway to change what's going on with you so that you get the satisfactory results that you want, no matter what you're going through, whether you're a caregiver or, as I am now, 6 months after caregiving and focusing my life around my mother. Now I have to focus my life around myself again. What am I going to do financially? What am I going to do relationally and professionally? So now I'm using the methodology to identify and to step into the reality I'm going to create for myself now, because the grieving stage is over, and now it's time to take care of myself. And I thank you for listening, and I hope that you got something out of this talk, and listen to our upcoming interviews with Nancy that relating to caregiving, and I will expound more on my methodology that helps you deal with whatever the problem is, identify it, and change it to your likings. Thank you, guys.